every 2-3 times a month, just a quick call, tell him what's going on. I send him email updates, forward him documents as far as the letters of intent, the financial projection spreadsheets that the CFO puts together, any relevant correspondence from other people. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, as far as phone calls, 2-3 times a month.
Okay. Any other? Okay. Hey, Josh, make me proud. Keep pushing.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated. It's a lot.
Okay. Congratulations. When he came to me originally, he was 16. What were you doing at 16, other than jacking off? And he's not really special. Because I know, I can already see in your fucking eyes that why well, I can't compete with another Zuckerberg. I can see it. And he's not special. He's half of what I was. Half. Not even half. He didn't know one fucking thing about what he's doing now. Not one in October. It is now April. It is, and even though he said it, it's not hard. It just isn't. It just isn't. And you're going to hear a couple other kids later, I mean, a little older than he is, but not much older. And they'll say the same thing. It's not hard. This isn't. It just isn't. One of the other kids you're going to listen to, he also did a pivot. He started on some deal and then that. But see, whereas we have some old guys that were asking those questions up there that should have pivoted, but they haven't. Why haven't they? No, it's all fear. I mean, fuck. A lot of questions coming from our Canadian CFA, MBA, CPA, PhD.
It would be wrong.
Yep. And whereas Josh, now he doesn't look Korean. He's Korean. He's Korean. He's Korean. I don't know how that happened, but he's Korean. And the his emotional bank account took some hits. When he lost 2 chairmen and a CFO all in about 10 days, I mean, that was it was a turning point, shall we say. But he got through it. But then when they come and they're looking for just the opposite. When you got your head handed to you and you ran to your mother and father and they said, it's all right. That's not what I do. I kicked him in the teeth. Well, the 2 teeth that he had left in his mouth, I kicked out. So the 4, maybe 6 times, I just stomped on him. Just the antithesis. Trainer wheels. You're a product of trainer wheels, like I talked earlier. And apparently, I don't know his dad, but apparently his dad isn't too, he lacks with empathy or sympathy as well. What's the takeaway from listening to him? Yeah, well, I mean, what is 120? Well, that actually be about 150 at 33%, 150 million, 20 years old. Did you hear that, YouTubers? 120 million, or 150 million, 20 years old. That's better than poking you out with a sharp stick, as they used to say in Texas. Considering he started in August of last year. So when I say 3 to 7 years, 7 years if you're retarded, 3 years if you're good, 1 year if you're real good. 1 year if you're real good. But his goal was to begin, when he started, he wanted to break all the records, which are basically mine, which when this happens, he will have broken them. And but he wanted each individual, the first to get a chairman, the quickest to get this, each individual. I said, if you take it apart and if you break the record for each individual part, I mean, you'll cut my time by 80%. Oh, okay. And he's still working 50, 60 hours a week. And but I mean, he sounds different than he did 5 months ago. But he sounds, there's no reason why anybody wouldn't believe him. And when I told him, whereas a lot of the guys, not just you, but the rest of the kids, they write War and Peace in their emails. Everybody know what War and Peace is? It's a long 5 billion pages, and they talk on the phone 30, 40 minutes. He said 120 seconds. I tease him. The reason why you don't want it to go past 120 seconds is because you don't have anything else to say. But it doesn't matter, does it? So, and he listened. The private equity is the lender or whatever of last resort, and they're the ones that'll cut your balls off and take And so he didn't have to sell that to his team. His team already knew that because they've been out there with their balls cut off before. So that was I said, this should be an easy sell. It shouldn't be a difficult sell. And it was an easy sell. I mean, nobody argued with him about it. They were just concerned that they weren't going to be able to find the deals to be able to do it without private equity. But when you keep them in, and when we talk about structuring deals in a couple of days, you'll see, I mean, how simple it is. But remember, you don't know what you don't know. And absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The guys with the corporate finance careers have learned just the opposite. But just the opposite is to generate fees. When you think about how it's broken down, it's the greatest fee generation. This way is not the greatest fee generation. So if you control the deal and you don't let the investment professionals push you, you can do this. And he happens to have a good CFO, strong CFO, which is crucial. And who has been maybe fucked on a couple, 3 deals in his career. So when these guys have been fucked and they've worked at these things and come away with next to nothing, they're easy sales. You want revenge? Well, revenge, yeah. Now you're sounding like your ethnic background, Yeah, you want revenge, yeah. And and it's an easy sale. Now, is it an easy sale coming from an 18-year-old kid? That's a horse of a different color. I don't know. I think he keeps it dark because he looks 10. Now, if you go to LinkedIn and you see his picture on LinkedIn, and he's wearing a 3-piece suit, maybe he looks 18. Maybe, and but the kid does exactly what I tell him to do. He doesn't deviate. And the 3 deals, which he's right, Dan doesn't like that because when you trying to do a simultaneous transaction close, a lot of shit can go wrong. But like he said, one isn't contingent on the other. But what happens is when I'm buying you 3 deals and she drops out, what happened? Why is she dropping out? Even though and that's a tough, and then pretty soon, the house of cards. That's why I don't like it. But but it's the 3 biggest players in the state. I understand the logic. I understand why they're doing it that way. I'm just, I'm not nervous. I'm nervous for them because I know that simultaneous transactions are not easy, even when they're not contingent.
Would you prefer to go after the biggest
Well, no, I go off of the lowest hanging fruit, the most motivated seller, whether it's the smallest or the biggest of that group. Now, in this particular case, the biggest is the most motivated seller, which is fortunate. It doesn't always work out that way. Any other questions on? Excuse me.
On the only reason that he's still working full time is just to cover his expenses.
Yeah, because nobody's supporting him.
So, bottom line is doing this part time. He's doing this part time.
This is part time. No, but I mean, he's doing 140 hours a week.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, he's doing at night 70 hours and his job 60 hours or whatever. In which the majority of the kids that come to you here are doing something else. And they normally, their goal is to quit whatever else they're doing in conjunction with the close of the first deal. I don't tell them to do that, but I mean, that's what their plan is. And that's fine. Some people quit their job and have enough, they think enough in a piggy bank to be able to go. But it always takes longer and costs more. That's just a fact of life. It always takes longer and costs more. And I told him that he should, continue that job especially because in the medical area, there's rules and regulations and all kinds of stuff that you have to make sure is right. You have to make sure is right. And so, originally, he wanted to close by April, and even though I've been telling him to close by April, I know that's ambitious, ambitious. But I mean, yeah.
What is his job for the 60 or 70 hours?
He's a computer scientist, something like that. He's a computer geek whiz with no education. I may be exaggerating this. He taught himself how to program over the weekend. And I always say programming was a hand job, but anyway. I've got a couple other kids that taught themselves over the weekend. I got a kid at Google who taught himself over the weekend. So I also got kids that have master's degrees in it, If your life depended on it, could you learn how to write code over the weekend? Oh, yeah. My life depended on it. If your life depended on this shit, you can get this shit done pretty quick. But your life's done. Really, your lives do depend on it, kids. You don't understand that. Anything else on Josh? Okay, YouTubers. Bye-bye.